There are some adjustments you can make to a DSLR camera, and it's hard because if you're shooting a nighttime football game, you're going to need different settings than if you're shooting an indoor basketball game where the lights in the field house or the gym bounce off the yellow floors and give our photos a very yellow tinge, versus if you're shooting in a very sunny day outside. So these are the variables that you can change on your camera that will give you better photography. So basically they deal with light, exposure, and focus. And we're going to talk today about aperture, shutter speed, and you know what depth of field is, but we'll talk about it again. So the big thing is that you want to always have the light source to your back, and you want to control how much light is passing through the camera. You can create mood in a photo based on the lighting in your picture. And today we're going to talk about overexposure and underexposure as well, and trying to get in the happy medium there. So this, again, I kind of touched on a little bit, that you need to account for where you are shooting pictures. Inside Homestead is not forgiving. The fluorescent lights in the classrooms, the lighting in the gyms with the yellowy floors. It is actually very hard to take pictures. Probably one of the best places to take pictures is in the theater, which is why you might notice that in the yearbook, those pictures always look amazing. They have amazing lighting. It's very predictable. So you just have to know how to adjust the settings on your camera. And even phones now, you can change settings. It's really amazing what some of the new phones can do. So again, just based on where you're taking the pictures, you can get a different outcome that you may have to, again, adjust the settings on your camera or do a little bit of touch up after the fact, especially as you're learning. So white balance is the biggest thing that helps the quality of your photo, and you can adjust the white balance. I know you can do it on a phone, but you can also do it in Photoshop, or there might even be something in iPhoto or in Preview. But if you look at the histogram here, the diagrams at the bottom, which would be something that you would look at if you were editing a photo, basically you want to have kind of the middle diagram where you have sort of a plateau for a mountain. Underexposed means the photo is too dark, and overexposed means the photo has too much light. It's like almost washed out. I heard guest speakers say that you want to expose to the right, which you can see in this middle diagram. Sort of the plateau goes up to the right a little bit, and that will give the picture its most natural look. So let's look at a couple of photos that are underexposed, overexposed, and what does that mean? So here you can see on the left is the underexposed, too dark picture. In the middle is more of what your natural eye would see. And then on the right is the overexposed picture with too much light in it. So here is how you would adjust the light that is actually coming through the camera, and that is through aperture. And aperture is described using f-stops. And so this is the actual lens you can see of your camera, and all the way on the left, you're letting a ton of light in. You can see that there's a big opening, and then as you go to the right, you can see that you're letting less and less and less light in. Okay, so if you look at the bottom here where it says f/, you can see it's sort of counterintuitive that the f-stop is really small. The number is really small, 2.8, when you're letting a lot of light in. And as you let less light in, the f-stop actually, the number goes up. So this is f-stop 22, all the way on the right, okay? Changing the aperture also changes how the object is in focus. So we've talked about depth of field a little bit already. So if the entire picture is in focus, Then you have, obviously that medium shot. If you're trying to blur out the background, then you have either a small or a large depth of field. So small depth of field would mean you're really focused, and a large depth of field would mean that a lot of the background is blurred. So kind of like here, a small aperture, meaning not letting a lot of light in. That large f-stop number on the right would give you deep depths of field, meaning your entire picture is in focus. You can see everything is in focus there. And then a large aperture all the way on the left of that original diagram, that small f-stop number would give you a shallow depth of field. So you're just focused in on one part of the picture and most of the background is blurred. Okay. Another adjustment you can make to your camera is what's shutter speed. So how fast the shutter clicks on your camera. That automatic sports setting will click it very quickly for you. You can adjust that obviously just by how quick you click your finger. That does affect the light and motion. So if you're trying to catch someone running or on a bike or shooting a basket, obviously sports photography, they have to really know the shutter speed quite well. And so you can adjust the light, or you can, if you want to purposely blur the motion, I'll just show you how the numbers work here. So at 1/30th of a second shutter speed, you can see most of the image is blurry, but a 1/500th of a second gets most of that same image in focus. So just by adjusting the shutter speed, and so when the bottom number is larger, you'll get more in focus, okay? You can also pan, which means holding the camera and moving it with the action, and that will help you clear the background or blur the background as well. And then again, you can see here, she's coming toward the camera at 1/30th of a second. Here she's moving, and so the camera is panning with her at 1/30th of a second. And then this is the last slide here. And like I said, if you want more review, I have a video in here for you, and then some more examples from a nature photographer who I know. Takes amazing pictures of Holy Hill out in my area, actually, if you're into nature photography. So if you're taking a picture for our website, most of those pictures are done on a camera because our website actually can't handle really high quality pictures. And high quality pictures are typically 300 DPI. DPI means dots per inch. And that's how many dots of color are in each square inch. So if you have a lot of concentrated color, 300 dots, that's going to give you really high quality, a lot of saturated color. And so when we're blowing up pictures really large for the yearbook, that's why we want a really quality camera at 300 DPI. You can try to take a lower quality picture and put it in Photoshop, and there is an adjustment in there. It's under image, adjust image, and then it'll let you play. Like you can put in DPI numbers to maybe up the quality of a low quality picture. We try not to do that. We just want to know, like, am I taking this picture for the website or am I taking this picture for the yearbook? If we have to use a camera photo for the yearbook, often we know that we can't stretch it very large. So we try to use it a little bit smaller, and that's where our designers have to get creative. So screenshots, smartphone shots, on the website, we are limited to horizontal pictures. For print, like when we do the senior magazine, which we'll design this trimester, or even soliloquy or the yearbook, then we take both vertical and horizontal. The nicer camera, the better. We usually, if we know we're taking pictures for the yearbook, we try to ask people to sign out a camera.